Hey guys, I want to show you some super fun skill that I'm really loving right now in early access season 3 of PoE 2, and it is called His Scattering Calamity. And it is a unique spell to this staff that the Abyss boss drops, Kulimak. And I am just really loving it because there's so many different combos you can do with this. Like, you can do this with mana stacking, you can do it with life stacking, and it's kind of like Ember Fullisade on crack. You basically just hold down the button and it charges up little, little Ember spells just like Ember Fullisade, and it releases them. But this one, it's a bit more powerful. Not only does it shoot fast and one at a time, but it can also chain 4 times, and then it explodes once it hits something. You see this here. You got an exploding AoE when it finishes. And I'm just really, really loving this skill. It's my favorite skill of the game right now, hands down. It may not be the most strongest OP build yet, but I'm waiting to see what big streamers come up with, or combos you guys come up with. Any combos, right? Because there's a lot of interactions you can do with this skill, and I'm just really, really loving it. And I just want to show you guys, like, right here, I just got a pretty basic budget mana stacking build here. This is less than 10 divs I have invested. And I got like a fully mana stacking Sork right here, and good amount of regen. So I'm running about 1500 regen right now. So I basically cast, yep, and it works really well. All right, so basically how this skill works is the more reduced skill effect duration you have, the quicker it fires and pops off. So when we have 2 spots in the tree where skill effect duration is, well, reduced, we have increased skill effect duration all over the place. So you can easily weapon swap this to where, you could be swapping in and out to where you have reduced duration for your spell, and then, you can cast Orb of Storms and it swaps off to where you have increased duration. You can easily set up like a weapon swap skill with this, and that's kind of what I'm doing. But first, I'm going to show you, because I'm actually running this right now with also compressed duration and, let's see here, swift deflection. So we got the maximum skill effect reduced duration possible right now. It's kind of going to be fast, so I'm just going to speed through real quick in a T1 map. All right, so this skill kind of gives me old school Winter Orb vibes, where you can just kind of charge it up and run through, and it kills packs of monsters. It's really cool. I love that about it. And I'm just really liking, too, how Sork can kind of just, you can stack tons of rarity on this setup. And that's kind of what I have going on here. I have a lot of rarity going on. I have heavy rarity in all my stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some gear real quick. Like I say, I'm running like full rarity stuff right here. Every single piece of gear has rarity on it right now. So I'm like, this is a full rarity build, nothing super special. You can probably get all this gear for less than 10 divs. I actually got this new chest for 2 divs. I think I got this for some exalteds, but it's worth like a div now. But, these staffs are cheap. They're like 20 exalts. And this is just a level 19 one, all right? If you get the level 21, you can have a 6 socket. You do have to be level 90 to use the 20, but yeah, once you get the level 21, you can actually get your 6 socket up, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and start doing, some mapping here. And, like, my weapon swap is going to be my Orb of Storms. So, if I'm just running around popping off of this, I have it on the slower mode. Just do some Orb of Storms, cast inside of it. You got a little extra boost of single target damage. So, I mean, yeah, keep in mind, so this is a level 19 skill, and you can easily do tier 15s with it. And it's fun, and it's magic finding. Like, I'm really enjoying this. I just kind of wanted to show you guys this. I'm just absolutely mind blown about how much awesome stuff GGG has added to this game right now. And, like, we're just into the 3rd season of early access, and this game is just super amazing, and I am loving it. I am so happy in the direction this game's going with, and, like, just making really cool stuff like this. It's awesome, right? I'm so happy that they're doing this. So, just really wanted to share this really new, neat skill with you guys. They just did a bug fix on it because it wasn't working properly. So now in this latest patch they just had, it is working properly now. So, yeah, guys, check it out. See if you want to play this build. I'll put my POB in the, not POB, but I can link my PoE Ninja in the description if you guys want to test this out and just, see if this is like something you want to play. And this is on Stormweaver, right? Nothing fantastic. And, I've even tried this out on my Blood Mage. right here with this 8% spell damage per 100 max life. So you can really do this build setup with anything. And you can get a lot of damage out of it on Blood Mage as well. So, one super important thing I kind of forgot to look at too here is basically, yes, the skill and how it works. Basically, I have supported skills have less skill effect duration with the nodes on the tree as well. So it basically takes our hover duration way down to where it shoots really fast. The base hover duration is 0.7 seconds. So with all this reduced skill effect duration, it brings the hover duration down to 0.16 seconds, right? So that's how it's shooting so much faster. So let me go ahead and remove all the hover duration so you can kind of see what this is like without that, because I know someone might have tried the staff out and you're like, man, this thing kind of sucks. So let me go ahead and remove all this off of here. See, it's really slow if you don't have any reduced duration, right? That makes the skill way better. So I just want you to kind of see that so you kind of understand. Yeah, you just throw the staff on and try like, man, this is crap, right? You can make it a lot better, obviously, right? All right, now for support gems, you can really do whatever you want, but you definitely want to have at least compressed duration in it so it goes faster. Everything else is kind of on you. You can do like Embitter to make it freeze and shatter everything. Multi-shot you don't have to have, but what multi-shot does, see, our speed is so fast now, it's going to literally cast them as soon as I cast them, right? But adding an extra projectile basically lets it store up to 10 charges, right? So every time I cast, it's doing 3. So it's still shooting it fast, but it's adding more to the queue of shooting, right? But you can bypass that because there's actually staffs where you can have like this one right here. So you can technically get 56% chance for spells to fire 2 additional projectiles. Right now, I do not have that on this staff, but you can actually get it with 8% spell damage per 100 maximum mana and 50% chance to add additional projectile. And you can also get more of this on the tree if you want to actually spec into that, because there is actual extra projectiles here on the tree as well. Let me go ahead and show you where those are at. At least I thought there was. Yeah, right here. So you got 4% chance for spells to fire additional projectiles. So you have some here. You have some here. So if you don't want to use multi-shot. This multi-shot's really not that good, right? I'm using it right now, but technically, you know, you're reducing damage with this. It's not really helping you a whole lot. So I definitely suggest trying to get a mana staff like this if you want to play. It's going to be the most efficient, you know. So you don't have to use this. Like, you take this out, you instantly have 20k more DPS, right? So you really don't want to be using that. But you can use it if that's, you know, depending on what staff you can get. And pretty much, you know, whatever you want to use, right? You can use Elemental Focus, Control Destruction, but the only thing I really recommend is compressed duration, and then everything else you can kind of put into how you want to make it feel and work good. But like right now, for what I have to make it feel good here in tier 15s, because I don't have the extra projectile staffs, is this basically this setup: rapid casting, multi-shot, embitter, and compressed duration. But you can easily, you know, you could take out, you know, elemental focus for embitter. It's still going to work just as good pretty much either way, and it feels good, right? So the gems are pretty much however you want to make them, you know, how you want to make it feel, what you want, what kind of damage you want to do. So it's completely, you know, up to you, but compressed duration's the one you definitely want to have. All right, before I go, just so I can go in a little more into depth for anybody that's kind of newer to the game, because, you know, I got like 15 years of experience in PoE and like 30,000 hours. You know, I'm just, like, I don't even use PoE. I just go with everything, right, and I just throw it together. The way this build works, in case you do want to make something like this so I can try to help you understand, is basically we stack mana and energy shield on everything, right? So we want the highest energy shield roll on everything and have mana on it as well. And in this case, I'm stacking maximum rarity, right? In our skill tree here, I'm actually a Stormweaver. And with this certain setup here, we're basically getting 100% damage is taken to mana before life. So we have 20% here. We have another 60% here on this chest. And you can get a 6 link, well, That's not 600. You can buy this exact chest for less than 1 dev right now. Not as high as an energy shield roll, but you can get one of these with 60% damage taken to mana for less than a dev. There's multiple of them up for sale right now, so this is like extremely cheap. And then on the skill tree as well, we have another 16% here, right? So we have another 16% of damage taken to mana before life. And then our last 4% is coming from right here. So in this way this works is we have all of our damage going to mana before life. And as you see, we only have 1 life, right? Well, the reason why we have 1 life is because we're running Chaos Inoculation. And what this does is you are immune to chaos damage and bleeding, which is huge. There is so much chaos damage, so much bleeding in this game. It's amazing. And with that being said, I don't need any chaos resistance because I'm immune to it. And for some reason, my lightning resistant fire screwed up right now. I will have to fix that at some point. But yeah, my resists are off right now, so I do need to fix that. But like my effective life hit pool right here is 4,290, and then when I put on my wand and focus is up to 4,900. And we're also regening 1,800 mana a second. So like you're getting hit, like not one little weak monster's not going to be able to kill you. See how, like I can't, this costs 600 mana and I'm casting as fast as I can and I can't even take it down. So this build's incredibly tanky versus white monsters and stuff like that, right? But yeah, you can still easily get one shot by strong rares. And let's go ahead and go back to the tree and kind of talk about how this all works together. So now that we know we have Chaos Inoculation right here, and this basically makes us immune to chaos. Life set to 1. It's okay, you have 1 life because everything goes to mana, right? But if you do not have this Chaos Inoculation, you will die to the smallest little fart of chaos damage, right? So you must have this. And there's other ways to play it. You could technically just go ahead and remove this, right? Take this off, and then boom, there we go. Now I have 1,200 life and still 4,900 mana. Still, all my damages are going to go directly to my mana, right? But any chaos damage is going to go straight to life first. So basically, this mana pool, we got 5,000, mana life versus all attacks other than chaos and bleeding, right? So you can also play this way, where you have life and mana, but then, you're going to want to stack your chaos resist at that point. So let's go ahead and go back into our tree and look a little bit more at this stuff. Just like I'm just trying to help out anybody that's kind of new or needs to understand this stuff. So over here, this is where it converts. Eldritch Battery converts all energy shield to mana. So right here, you can see this has 428 energy shield and 147 mana. So basically, I'm getting roughly about 600 mana from this. Same thing goes, like you see, I got this focus, 242 energy shield, and mana. You want strictly only intelligence gear with the highest amount of energy shield and the highest amount of mana together. And mana and energy shield royals are both prefixes. So you'll only be able to have 2 energy shield rolls and 1 mana roll per each piece of gear. All right, other stuff we have here is Arcane Intensity. So you can kind of see where this is going, right? We got 3% spell damage per 100 maximum mana, right? There you go. We're stacking mana, you want damage per mana. And then also, you got another 9% or 8% spell damage per 100 max mana on this staff. And it can go up to 9. I've seen a 9 staff. Also, throughout the tree, in random various areas, we got mana regen all over the place. Like this node is super important. Increased mana recovery. This multiplies very well with mana regen and max mana. So the way this game works too, it's not like Last Epoch. As you increase your max mana, your regen will go up. But adding increased mana regen as well will make it go up more as well too. So increasing mana regen, which are these nodes here, and increasing your max mana, both increase your mana regen, and mana recovery is huge. And another thing here with Stormweaver, and why I have, that's like I got a Godzooks amount of fucking mana regen right here, 1,800 per second, because we also have permanent Arcane Surge. And what Arcane Surge does is it grants 15% increased cast speed and 20% more mana regen. So this multiplies against all your increased. So that's how we're really juicing this up. And it goes further than that, right? So another thing that we really have that's kind of important is right here, this socket. 40% increased effective arcane surge. So we're just juicing up that 20% more. It's not just from these gloves. And you can also 2 to 3 socket a pair of gloves. You can technically get 3 of these to 120% effective arcane surge on you in a pair of gloves, because they can drop at 2 sockets and you can corrupt it to 3. I mean, we're talking super rare, mega endgame, big, expensive stuff, right? But it is possible. And you can get your mana regen up to like 3,000 if you want. Just kind of, you know, how much and how far you want to go into a build, right? So basically the old school way was this: all damage is taken mana before life, but then you lose 50% mana recovery rate. And this kind of sucks, right? Because, I mean, this is kind of like a no-brainer, but let's just go ahead and show you like what this does, right?
What is it? Inspiring.
I mean, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer. 50% left, right? Last, right? We go ahead and, okay, we got 1,800 right here. Pop it in there. That sucks, right? Who wants 900 mana regen over 1,800? So that's kind of why we're stacking all this stuff on the gear, so you basically get a ton of mana regen, which makes you more tankier, or more tankier versus small hits, right? Everything else is just kind of, you know, stuff that's nice. Like, I got, like, curse reduction right here. So this is really useful, you know, just so when you're running, you know, nastier mods and maps, the curses don't affect you as much. And then over here as well, this is where we got some more mana regen and increased effect of arcane surge. Again, a really awesome more multiplier. You got some here too as well. So basically throughout the whole tree, I'm basically just trying to get damage and mana regen, right? And then the more mana we have, the more damage we're going to do with our equipment. Now up here, this is something new they've added in with this season 3. It's called Archon. So after you spend 100% of your mana, which is basically 4,900, which isn't hard, you know, you cast like 5 of these, you get this buff called Lightning Archon, which is pretty sweet. Lightning Archon is a type of buff that grants 25% more lightning damage, so it's a more multiplier to your damage. And basically converts everything else you have into lightning damage. But it only lasts 10 seconds, and then it has like a 30-second cooldown. But it's a new neat thing they have. But like these nodes are good, right? Because we got lightning damage and or mana regen together. And, you know, remember how I was kind of showing you some weapon swap stuff here? So basically, when I swap weapons, these skill points appear and disappear, right? So when I'm having the staff up, I have these reduced skill effect durations popping up for his calling calamity, right? But then when you switch to your wand, it removes those reduced duration nodes, and it adds back in more duration. So like your Orb of Storms last longer, and you can also, instead of having reduced duration, you can come up here and grab these nodes here as well to add more lightning damage with your Orb of Storms. Another really cool thing too is, let me go ahead and put this back on the bar here. As you can see, like, you know, our projectiles are, you know, just normal, like greenish blue. But if you go ahead and throw a firewall down, you can also basically infuse these with fire. So they're, you know, green, red, and blue, and they look super awesome. And they do a lot more damage too. So it's nice to also have, you know, like a flame wall so you can shoot these through to get a little more damage. So like basically if you're wanting like max damage, and throw down 2 Orb of Storms, get your flame wall up, and you're just, you know, you're nuking to high heavens, right? And I do have Umber Folosay too. That's like completely optional. You know, I'm just really messing around. You can kind of do this build however you want. I'm just really loving it and having a lot of fun. So let's go back in the tree and make sure I covered everything, because, I mean, you can pretty much do this build however you want. I'm just showing you how I have it done right now, and it works really well at Magic Finding in Tier 15s. It's not the most ultimate godly damage compared to, you know, your super powerful Blood Mage build that costs like 60 Desminum to get started. And I am going to do a video on that next. Yep, this is basically it. If you have any questions, just hop into Global 100. We're always in the Discord too all the time, and the PoE 1 and 2 Discord. join up in that, and we can help you guys out if you want any help with any kind of build. We can help you out there too. I just kind of want to give you guys a heads up on how this works and everything, and I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for sticking around, and please like and subscribe and sub.